Hey, welcome back to RCR Horsemanship. I'm Cory Furlong, and today we are back with Lani. We're going to do the final 2 steps of teaching a new horse how to do liberty. So a couple things before I get started. First of all, we got snow since the last time I was out here, and it's a little bit muddy. You're gonna probably see some mud on my boots. I'm gonna be tripping over myself a little bit, but because of that, I'm gonna be very aware of the footing today. So I'm not gonna do as much controlling the direction, and I'm also not gonna do it because of her. So some things that I've noticed about her is that she really has come into round pen work with some preconceived ideas. And I think I mentioned it in one of the previous videos, but she does have some training. She has been started under saddle, just very lightly. And when she comes into the round pen, she really has this mentality of like, I need to run away from something. And so a couple of ways that I've been trying to fix that is I have been letting her into the round pen to just relax, because when I bring her in, the first thing she wants to do is run around even when I step out. It's just this idea that she really needs to just run and run and run. So I've been stepping out and letting her relax, and once she's relaxed in the round pen, then I come back in. And then I'm trying to avoid doing too much of controlling the direction. I know I have good control of her direction. I don't need to do it as much, and I'm trying to get past that step to get her straight to thinking. So I will control the direction, maybe 2 changes of direction at most, and then I go straight to catching the eye, drawing the eye and shoulder. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to balance the drive and draw, and then hopefully build our circle. So just a little bit of a recap. So we've controlled the direction, we're able to catch her eye, I'm able to draw her in, and I want to just, show what I want that to look like before we move on to the next step. So when we ended the last video, excuse my muddy boots, I had her on the outside of this round pen, and I was just trying to get her to face me on the outside. So I was trying to switch places with her, basically, and get her to start following me. Since then, I've only done one other session with her, and she has really taken a liking to this, which is super exciting. But what I want to be able to see is that not only am I able to have her on the outside here, see, she's already ready for the next step. I want to see that when I come around here, I'm able to pause, she can face me, but then I can use that kind of C-shaped motion, drawing her up to my back, and then I'm gonna put my whips down and just kind of walk away. Now notice right there, she just switched eyes. I really don't want her to switch eyes. If I asked her on one side, I want her to stay on that side for a lot of different reasons, but mainly for me, it's a safety precaution that I don't want my horse thinking that they can change eyes and change sides because I don't want to get smacked in the head if they're close to me when they do it. So I like to kind of be in control of that. But I'd like to see that I can kind of continue this motion, drawing her up to my back, having just a slight amount of pressure on her hindquarters there, and see if she'll just follow me. And she's doing an amazing job with this. With these videos, we really haven't skipped anything. Everything that you've seen has been exactly how it's gone, and then I've done one practice session in between each, just repeating those same steps that you guys already saw. So once again, I'm gonna show you that I can do that C-shaped motion, and I can draw the eye and shoulder, and she'll come and follow me. And the cool thing about this is we are already doing liberty. As you can see, this is pretty cool. But our goal is that we're going to get a liberty circle, not just having our horse follow us. So that, all those steps that we've already done, that's just teaching her the recall. I want to make sure that I can do this on both eyes. So I'm leading with my whips there to change directions and just asking her to follow. And one thing that I'm noticing here is that she has a harder time bending the rib cage this direction. It's not terribly surprising. Most horses are a little bit more comfortable on their left side because we do so much more on their left. Good girl, there you go. But these next few steps are gonna fix that problem, how she's kind of shouldering into me and keeping her body very straight. The next few steps should kind of fix that. But the fact that she's following me, adding a little bit of pressure on the hip, inviting her to the back. Oop, I don't want you to change eyes, my dear. Good girl. There we go. So the fact that we're getting this is a great step. Good. Now, if at any point my horse runs off, all we have to do is go back through those steps, controlling the direction, catch the eye, draw the eye and shoulder, right? and we get back to that point. I don't want you guys to ever feel scared that your horse is gonna run off. That's part of liberty. Every horse runs off. Everybody who does liberty has had a horse run off, not only when you're just teaching things, but also when you perform. So don't worry too much about that. We don't wanna pressure our horses too much. If they do run off, I'm gonna be very cautious to not start driving my horse until they actually reach the outside of the round pen and they've made that decision fully. If they don't make that decision fully and they come back to me, I want to go right back to what I was doing each time. One mistake that we'll make a lot when our horses run off, especially at this stage, is that we will get our horse back to us and we'll stop and pet them. So let's say she ran off, I control the direction, I catch the eye, I draw her back in, and she comes up to me and I stop. The problem is my horse is going to learn that they're going to run off and come back and they get a rest every time. So if you notice that your horse is starting to run off and then they come back to you right away, but then the second you add pressure, they run off again, you're probably not going right back to that thing that you were working on. So if I was working on getting her to follow me, drawing the eye and shoulder, if I'm doing this and she said, whoa, that felt like a lot of pressure, she runs off, when I get her back, I want to go back to it, but maybe I don't do quite as many steps. Just reassure her that following my back here, drawing that eye and shoulder, that this is going to be the happy place. This is going to be an easy thing. Good girl. So now for my next step is I want to balance my drive and draw. Some trainers might talk about shoulder control or might just say that the next step would be controlling the shoulder. I think it's a little bit, it's not quite that simple of just controlling the shoulder. I want to control the shoulder and then balance that drive away and drawing back. So as you guys saw, she's kind of shouldering in here, and this is a problem that a lot of Liberty horses will have, is that they will kind of shoulder in, they'll get a little bit too close. I need to make sure that I can push my horse away while maintaining enough draw that my horse doesn't run off. So what I'm gonna do, this is where having two whips comes in handy. I like to block with one whip, and I want the angle of this whip to be the angle I want her body to move into. So it's going kind of across her nose, but when I push into her, I want her body to end up following the angle of that whip. If that's not enough to move my horse's shoulder, then I'll just come in here with my other whip. Good. With just a little swing, and I'm gonna ask that shoulder to move. So blocking with one whip. Whoops, she didn't move the shoulder. Good, she moved the shoulder. Now I wanna balance that drive by drawing her back in. So I drove her away. When she does good, I'm gonna walk away and see if she'll come back in. And what we're gonna start to see here is what I like to call the flower petals before you get your Liberty circle. So I'm gonna have these little flower petals where I draw her out and then I pull her back in, and it's gonna create a little flower shape. So hopefully you guys can kind of visualize that. Drive her out, drive her out. Good, and then draw her back. And notice how when I drop my whips, I go right into that drawing position where I'm drawing the eye and shoulder. I go right back to this position. I'm walking away from the back and around towards those hips. That's what's gonna draw her back in. So drive out. Good. And notice how I'm rewarding for even that slightest try of moving that shoulder out. Right now, I would love to see that inside foot step in front all the way through. So I want to see this inside foot step all the way through that way. If I don't see that and that outside foot steps out, I'll also reward for that at this point. There. Good. I just gave her a small release there because I didn't get a full step, but I wanted to reassure her that she's doing the right thing. Out, out, out. Good. And draw her back in. Good. Out. Very nice. That was good. I didn't get that nice flower petal shape, but I did get a really nice shoulder movement there. Not the greatest shoulder movement, but that's all right. Now this is a horse that really hasn't been taught all of her body control. I can tell by the way that she leads. And she doesn't really know how to move a hind foot and a front foot and all that stuff. So because she doesn't have a ton of body control, I really have to teach that right now. You know, if I have a horse that knows all those things on a halter and lead rope, this might happen even faster. Good. So once again, step the shoulder. Beautiful. There we go. Good. Very nice. Resting is a really good thing for liberty in general. I mean, any training with horses, that rest time is really valuable. But I want to make sure that I'm giving her those little rewards, letting her know that hanging out with me and trying is going to serve her really well. So once again, we're going to go shoulder. Good. Flower petal. Shoulder. Good. Balancing, drive, and draw. Driving and drawing. Driving and drawing. Good. Now, once my horse gets comfortable with this, I'm going to try to make those pedals just a little bit bigger until we're going to build our circle. So let's see what she can do. Drive, hold, draw. Good. Very nice, Lani. Drive, hold, a little more, hold and draw. Good. Now, once I feel like those flower petals are getting to the point of being like a half of a circle, that's when I'm going to try to start getting my actual liberty circle. So to do that and balancing the drive and draw in the actual circle, I'm not going to be going driving, drawing, driving, drawing. I want to do it at the same time. So I'm going to ask her out like I'm asking for a flower petal. And then I'm going to back my feet up slightly as I hold my whips out and ask her to go forward. So I'm driving her in by moving backward. Or I'm drawing her in as I'm moving backwards, driving her out with the whips. Very good, and that is her first liberty circle. Very cool. Good job, Lani. Very good. I think I'll do that one more time on this side, and then I'm going to see if we can get it on the other side. And then that's probably a pretty good session for her. So, drive first, back up to draw her in. Notice how I'm giving her little taps on that rib cage if I feel like she's coming in too far. Also notice that I'm holding the end of my lunge whip as I do this. One reason is because of the mud, that lunge whip will get stuck. But if I don't need to tap her at a distance, I don't need that extra string hanging down. Good. So it makes a nice blunt little tap on her rib cage. Good. Now I noticed she was going to start disconnecting there. I was asking for a lot, so I just wanted to draw her back in, let her know that she's doing really great. Good girl. Do one more. Good. There. I'm going to take that. That was really nice. Good girl. Now, one thing that I like to do after I get some good liberty circles is I like to take a horse for a walk. So since she already knows how to follow me, this isn't adding a lot of pressure. It should be quite relaxing for her to come and go for a little walk before we try that other side. Good girl. My whips are nice and low. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm just letting her come for a little walk, hopefully staying on the correct eye. Good girl. Very nice. Good. I'll give her a little pet on the shoulder here. I do like rewarding at the shoulder for liberty because that will help with that changing of eyes. So if I was on this shoulder, I'm going to stay on that shoulder, give her a little pet, and now we'll try for the other side. Block, shoulder, good. Flower petal. Good. Now she's a little bit close here. If my horse gets a little bit too close, I'm just going to stand my ground. I'm not going to be mean about it. I'm not going to shove her out of my space. I'm just going to not move my feet back. And she'll get to understand that she probably shouldn't come in quite so close. So I'm just firm there. I'm not being mean. I'm not going to be, shoving her out of my space. I'm just holding my feet steady. And if I need to, I can kind of lean into her a little bit and say, that was a little bit too close. But there's no reason for me to shove her out of my space when she's just learning. Good. Flower petal. Ooh, pay attention. Good girl. A little bit of energy towards that hip to get her attention back. She did great there. Good girl. shoulder, shoulder, no, do, do, do. Good. Good. Very nice, Lani. Good try. Look at her release that tension. She was thinking pretty hard about that one. Good girl. So I'll do this a few times and then I'll be building the circle on this side as well. Good. Good. Very nice. We'll see if we can build that circle now. Little out. There we go. Little out. Very good. Good mare. Thank you guys so much for watching this series. I hope it helped you get a bit of an idea of how I start Liberty with a new horse. It's pretty cool for me to see the difference between when we first started with Lani and what we're seeing now, and I'm really excited to hopefully share some more in the future with her. So if you liked it, please give me a like. You can follow me on all of pretty much any social media platform. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments or send me a private message. I would love to start a conversation. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.